once again, welcome to Ray's Corner. I want to just thank you all today for tuning in. There's sort of some things that's going on here at Exodus House Ministry with Apostle Ray Wilkerson. We're going to talk about this morning, and I see, we have Ray's Corner Monday, Get Me Started to Success, Tuesday, Marketplace Ministry, Wednesday, which will be called How Money Works, and Thursday will be called My Economics, so that'll be changing. But I just want to share this morning, bring on to talk a little bit about Marketplace Ministry, because we have to come outside of the church walls. We have to come outside of the church walls. We need to be trained and equipped inside of the church walls to go outside of the church walls to do what God has anointed us, has purposed us, has planned for us to do, especially in the marketplace. So look, I'm going to switch over right now. I'm just going to switch over. And I want y'all to listen to this.
Or any other teaching in its entirety, visit our website at trumpetofgod.org. Here's a snippet of an awesome teaching from Apostle Charlene.
I'm going to return to our teaching, Kingdom Mandate Part 3. Kingdom Mandate Part 3 with an emphasis on the marketplace ministry. Unfortunately, over the course of time, what God intended has been misdefined and mishandled and misconstrued in a way that the church became inward when our Great Commission was to take us outward. And so as a result of that, many people came to understand or believe that unless they were significant in the church house doing ministry, that they had no other ministry outside of the four walls of the church.
Hey, I'm going to be jumping in now, and that is a powerful piece. We're our whole being, our whole purpose, our whole feeling like we're a part of something. Outside of the world, we feel like nothing, but then you come to church, you're the deacon, you're part of the choir, and praise and worship. There's somebody you feel purpose just inside those walls, but it's bigger than inside of those walls.
Sure. I believe today, as I teach the Word of God by the power of the Holy Spirit, you're going to see that you have a significant place in the house of God and a significant place in the marketplace, and whatever God.
See, God has a real big plan for us, for you and for me. He has purposed us, He has planned us, He has anointed us, He has gifted us, He has given us talent, He has deposited things in us that the world needs. You're more than just someone who sits on a pew every Sunday to come to Bible study Wednesday or Thursday. You are much greater than that. He wants to train and equip you inside the church to go outside the church, especially into the marketplace where you spend most of your time.
Call you to do as your vocation or career. It's a part of your spiritual assignment. So our anchor scriptures today are Psalm 115, verse 16, and Luke 19. I'm going to read verses 12 through 26 out of Luke 19. So if you turn with me, first of all, with Psalm 115 and verse 16, and in the NIV, the New International Version, it reads, "The highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth He has given to man." The what? The highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth He has given to man. So that sounds like thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. God rules in the realm of the spirit, but He's given the earth realm for man to have dominion. And we saw that established out of Genesis, the first.
So we understand there is a purpose here on earth for us. We come from heaven, we come down purposely. God has transcended us down to earth purposely for a particular purpose and plan in your life. You're not just created to just get up and go to work every day, get up and go to church every Sunday. These things we must do, but your life is bigger than that, because that at some point that becomes mundane to you. And you sit back and say, "Wow, is this all I exist for?" Well, I'm here to tell you, no, that's not all you exist for.
Chapter, is that right? He put us in the earth to be the reflection of himself in the earth realm. Now, let's take a look at it in Luke, the 19th chapter. Luke, the 19th chapter. I'm going to read out the New King James Version, and then I'm going to read verse 13 out of the King James Version. Luke, the 19th chapter. Kingdom mandate with an emphasis on the marketplace ministry. Kingdom mandate with an emphasis on the marketplace ministry. Luke 19, verse 12. And the scripture reads, "Therefore he said, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return." Now let me read it in the New King James. I'm going to come back and read verse 13 in the King James Version, so I want to fill out the word occupy. The scripture says in the New King James, verse 13, "So he called 10 of his servants, delivered to them 10 minuses, and said to them, do business till I come." In the King James Version, he said,
so when you look at this, do business. There is a business that we have to do. So he called 10 of his servants, delivered to them 10 mites, and said to them, do business till I come. So you have a business. You have a business here on earth that you should be doing.
And he called his 10 servants and delivered to them 10 pounds and said to them, what? Occupy till I come. So both phrases suggest that there's something beyond just what you do in the house of God. Can you agree with that? So let me read it again. New King James Version, Luke 19, verse 12. "Therefore he said, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. So he called 10 of his servants, delivered to them 10 minuses, and said to them, do business till I come. But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And so it was that when he returned, having received the kingdom, he then commanded these servants to whom he had given the money to be called to him, that he might know how much every man has gained by trade. Then came the first, saying, Master, your money."
So when you look at this verse, what God has placed something in us to multiply. God has placed something in us to create something here on earth. There's a particular purpose and plan that we say, but there's a increase that in the earth realm through our influence that we as believers, we are mandated to do here on earth.
Mina has earned 10 minuses. And he said, verse 17, to him, well done, good servant, because you were faithful in a very little, have authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Master, your mina has earned 5 minuses. Likewise, he said to him, you also be over 5 cities. Then another came to him, Master, here is your mina, which I have kept put away in a handkerchief. For I fear you, because you are an austere man. You collect what you did not deposit, and you reap what you did not sow. And he said to him, out of your own mouth I will judge you, you wicked servant. You knew that I was an austere man, collecting what I did not deposit, and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not put my money in the bank, and that at my coming I might have collected it with interest? Verse 24. And he said to those who stood by, take the mina from him and give it to him who has 10 minuses. But they said to him, Master, he has 10 minuses. For I say to you that to everyone who has will be given, and from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. Now, Jesus is speaking to, first of all, he starts out speaking to Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus repents, and he makes things right, and he returns fourfold of how he has defrauded people. So it suggests that God has a mind about how we use not only our resources, but our influence. Does that make sense? So we're going to talk about the resources or the influence
So God has given us influence and resources that we're obligated to use here on earth for his glory, for the purpose and plan he has for our life, to increase that what he put in us.
Or the term occupy, as we bear out or as we develop the teaching on marketplace ministry, for us to see that God intends for us to use our influence or the influence that he's put in our life or the resources he's given us beyond the four walls of the church. Okay? So first of all,
so we really have to understand, right, that we have to take what God has given us, and take it outside the church. But before we take it outside church, we have to be trained and equipped. The influence that we have and the resources that he gives us.
let me read for you Charles Colson. I've shared this quote with you a number of times, but it bears worth saying again today, reading today. It is not enough to focus exclusively on the spiritual, on Bible studies and evangelistic campaigns while turning a blind eye to the distinctive tensions of contemporary life. We must show the world that Christianity is what? More than a private belief and more than a personal salvation. We must show that it is a comprehensive life system that answers all of the questions. What questions are we answering?
So we're going to stop there. Come back a little later on today and continue this teaching. I know I got the light and stuff over there. But listen, we are purposed with the gifts and talents that God has given us to go outside of the market, outside of the church, into the marketplace, into the world, and solve the problems that are here on earth. We're the solution. They don't have the solution. We are light and salt. We're to go into darkness and enlighten people about the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're also supposed to enlighten people about the economic condition. We're supposed to enlighten people about political things. We're supposed to enlighten people about arts. We're supposed to enlighten people about media. We're supposed to enlighten people about business. We're supposed to enlighten people about education. We're supposed to enlighten people about family. Because we're the light. So look, this has been Apostle Ray. Talk to you guys later. Do another recording on my Zoom. Peace out.